is Washington's 24-hour local news leader. News Channel 8's Live Tonight starts right now.
One police department in Prince George's County is redefining what it means to get an e-ticket. This one won't get you on an airplane. Chris Van Cleve explains the E-Citation.
Caught speeding. No one likes the feeling of looking in their rearview mirror and seeing flashing lights. But this motorist in New Carrollton will at least be getting a new kind of ticket that takes a lot less time to write.
It allows the officer to prepare the ticket in seconds rather than minutes on a computer screen, and then print the citation in the car and hand it to the violator.
UTC preparation.
Sergeant Richard Hartnett developed the program that takes the ticket book high tech. Now his department is the first in Maryland allowed to give E-Citations.
Confirm tag.
Using information from the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration database, it fills out most of the ticket for the officer. Take a closer look. All the info is clear, legible on one page, and the driver doesn't have to sign it. Now, here's a traditional ticket. Notice there are 5 copies, and it's handwritten. Hartnett says nationwide, 10 to 15% of tickets get thrown out for legibility issues, and frankly, writing tickets the old way takes a lot of time. So while he just has to type a few things into the computer there, if he was doing it the old-fashioned way, there'd be a ticket book that you have to fill out. You'd also have to have one of these, which lists all the motor vehicle offenses, have to find the specific code, fill that out. So you've got pages here you have to flip through, and this whole ticket you've got to write.
My quickest time so far is 3 minutes, down from like 10 or 12 for a written ticket.
The less time we spend on traffic stops, the more time we have for patrol.
As for those on the other side of the potential ticket,
I think it really was helpful because it saved a lot of time.
I think it's good.
and get you out on your way faster.
That, and you don't have to sign anything.
And this woman.
Have a nice day.
Well, you get the idea how she feels. Chris Van Cleve, News Channel 8.
And joining us now live with more is Sergeant Richard Hartnett of the New Carrollton City Police Department. And Sergeant, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
How did you develop this idea?
Well, about 4 years ago, I was working on a program to convert all of our handwritten crime reports into computerized versions, which would speed up the data entry and allow us to produce a much clearer and more legible police report. And at the time, I got to thinking that it was really kind of ridiculous how long police officers would spend writing out a handwritten traffic ticket. There isn't a lot of room in the police car to write. The tickets were getting smaller and smaller. Maybe you can see this in the camera, but there's not a lot of room to write on these tickets. So police officers would spend an inordinate amount of time filling out these citations, which were many, many copies. That, of course, caused the violator to sit on the side of the road for a longer time, which caused them to be agitated. And it was a safety issue for police officers because the longer they sat on the side of the road with the violator, the greater the chance was that someone would come along, swerve over, and hit either the police car or the violator themselves, causing, of course, injuries and possible death.
You note that it makes the ticket writing much more faster, and you talk about that safety. How important a development is this? The officer in Chris's story said that his ticket writing is down to 3 minutes from 10 or 12 minutes. But you really talk about the safety and how important is it that you're only out there for a few minutes?
Well, nationally, more police officers are killed every year handling traffic stops and domestic violence calls than any other type of call that they handle. And the main reason for the death and injuries on traffic cases is simply that. Police officers are on the side of the road. They're usually in busy highways. Cars get very, very close, so they just don't pay attention. They swerve over. They hit the police car, which in turn pushes that into the violator's car, or they hit the officer themselves. The other issue about safety is that when a police officer is sitting in the car and he's looking at this citation and he's concentrating on writing it, he's not paying attention on his surroundings. He's not focusing on the violator. He's not focusing on what's going on around him. And that, of course, leaves him vulnerable to have someone come up to the side of the police car, put a gun in his head, or run away from the scene entirely and thus lose the violator.
And what about the information in the Motor Vehicle Administration database? Is it always correct and reliable? And do you give the driver an opportunity to say whether what pops up there in the computer is right?
Well, normally we're not confronting the violator with what comes up on the computer screen. We're more relying on what comes from the MVA database to get the current address of the violator, which is often not what's on the driver's license. But if there are outstanding violations, we may in fact ask the violator about it, but normally that's not what we're using it for. We're more concerned about getting current information. Many times people have moved, their license doesn't reflect that, but when we populate the ticket from the computer, the most current information is available and fills the ticket in about 10 seconds.
And have other police departments expressed an interest in this technology? I mean, are you going to share it? Have you applied for a patent for it?
No, I haven't done that, and other police departments are interested. In fact, as we speak, we have 5 other police departments that have agreed to come on and use our system. We hope to be adding in those police departments in the first quarter of 2008.
Well, hopefully you'll get credit for developing something that could be useful to a lot of officers.
I hope so.
All right, Sergeant Richard Hartnett from the New Carrollton City Police Department, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
A cloudy day here in